this new drone announcement today. It was basically that anticipated Skydio 2. But first of all, just thank you to everyone who's giving me all your support and stuff like that, just based on that incident yesterday of someone stealing my drone footage and all that. I basically, at this point, I contacted the outlet, so to speak, that actually promoted it, so I wanted to kind of find out in context exactly what happened in that case. I just want to see how far they're basically lying about it, so we'll see how it goes. I'll talk a bit about it a little later too. I don't know what you guys did too, but whatever you did, you apparently scared them because they're trying to hide it now, at least on the YouTube platform. It's still on their other social media sites, but thank you everyone for actually caring, because in a lot of cases like this, you would expect, even though people like say watch videos and stuff that I make, they would be in the mindset of, I don't care what happens in your personal life, just give me my fix and I'm done with it. Yet the majority of you are very supportive, so thank you again. And for the drone reveal today, here we have the Skydio 2. Finally, we get to see what it looks like. By the looks of it, I don't think it actually folds, but it seems pretty slim in general. And as you guys know, that company is known to have drones that basically have advanced collision detection, obstacle avoidance, and all that stuff, which is basically one of the highlights. But the old one was actually super bulky and super expensive, which was basically beyond the reach of most people. So does this one fix all those problems? As you would expect, most people would compare them to DJI and their drone offerings, for example, the Mavic lineups and the Phantom, and I guess they're not shy in hiding it. In their trailer that I saw, the very first thing they kind of show is basically a Phantom drone crashing into the sign. I guess to demonstrate how, in terms of obstacle avoidance, is not too advanced. So I guess they're going to be on a full-on battle here, huh? So what they write in their description here, it says Skydio 2 combines groundbreaking artificial intelligence with a best-in-class 4K 60 HDR camera, 3.5 kilometers of wireless range, and 23 minutes of flight time in a drone that fits anywhere you can carry a 13-inch laptop. For experienced pilots, Skydio 2 makes every aspect of flying drones more creative, more fun, more useful, and less stressful. But it's also capable of flying itself with the skills of an expert pilot, opening up the power and magic of aerial capture to new audiences. And even with all of their literature on the site, they pretty much go off trying to compare their drones to the DJI stuff. Like saying better eyes sees more with 6 4K navigation cameras, to highlight the point again of better obstacle. And it seems like it says here there's 3 ways to fly it. Basically, you can just use your phone basically to control it to fly autonomously, something called the Skydio beacon, and a more traditional controller. From what I've seen, the picture quality looks pretty good. I mean, the colors look pretty deep. And you can see there's a lot of situations where they follow fast-moving vehicles. There's a part where it flies backwards, like through a bunch of cars and stuff, like indoors, which is really impressive. And on their site, they have this thing called a drone benchmark report made by Cam, and essentially it's supposed to compare things like the picture quality, the noise when it comes to the cameras in different situations. Like here, noise in auto mode. And for the most part, they're making it sound like, in general, like the Skydio is better than everything else in terms of the quality. Same thing with things like dynamic range, and they have all these color palettes to show you what it looks like in daylight. Again, from what I see in the pictures, the colors do seem very deeper, I guess you could say. It actually makes me wonder if that's good, because it might sound weird, but usually you want like those flat colors with really good dynamic range, so it's better in the editing. So it made me wonder if it actually is better in this case overall. I wouldn't know because I never used it, obviously. It's kind of interesting actually just to see in that report how they say that drone performs better than, let's say, some of the DJI drones in terms of lighting in various conditions and all that. But just looking at some of the specs too, like people would wonder things like the sensor size. Apparently this one is 1 and 2.3. But if it can perform just as well, I guess that's kind of impressive, because many times it's more than just a sensor size. There's like so many other things you have to factor. It is lighter too than, say, the Mavic 2, because this one here, it says with the battery it's 775 grams, and as mentioned before, it flies for 23 minutes. Although again, my assumption just by seeing the whole thing, you can't actually fold this drone, whereas with things like the Mavic Pro you can. I don't know how much of a factor that would be for most people. And I guess you would assume a drone like this, which would be my assumption initially, is it flies, autonomously, it follows fast-moving vehicles. You'd think more sports-like, more for cinematography. But apparently they're trying to push this for things like first responders too. Like they even show videos here of firefighters putting out a fire and how I guess it can help you with an aerial view. Although I guess people are saying give them the ability to put things like a thermal camera and all that, and then we're talking. And one of the big things I think here, which really gives them kind of an edge for people to take them really seriously, is the price. They're saying this drone, they're gonna charge $999 US. That's not bad actually. I mean, just from what I see so far here, if I was to compare this with, like, say, the Mavic 2 Zoom, Honestly, this one is a big contender. I would consider getting this one instead in many ways. Because for me anyways, I'd rather have the capability of the drone being able to follow you intelligently like that with a lot of sensors versus, let's say, a small zoom feature. Now, the picture quality, again, I've never used like the drone itself, so I can't really say if it's better, let's say, the Mavic 2 Pro, so that's a little hard to say. But yeah, it's a real contender at that price. Although one thing to keep in mind too, you actually only see this in the checkout page if you were going to pre-order it right now. It says they're charging $100 for it. What comes in the box, it says Skydio 2 will include 1 battery, 2 additional propellers, 1 of each type beyond the 4 required to fly, 1 USB Type-C cable for charging and data transfer, and 1 USB-C wall adapter for charging. And it says you'll have an opportunity to add other accessories at the time of full payment. Beacon and controller will be $149 each. So if you think about that, this is technically more realistically over $1,000 as opposed to $999, for example. And the other pitching point with this company, which would be kind of interesting to see, just with all that news about things like the trade tariffs and stuff that would affect things like Chinese-made drones, like say with DJI. It says, an American drone with unprecedented warranty. Skydio 2 is the easiest to fly, least likely to crash drone on the planet, and we're proud to be building it right here in America. So would that actually be a factor for a lot of people in terms of where they would buy their drone and which brand because of location? One thing I was actually really interested in was the noise of the drone. It does say it's about 50% quieter compared to their older model. It makes me wonder if that's actually less noisy than, let's say, the Mavic 2 lineup. Because that is like a factor for people as well, I suppose, in some cases, like how noisy the drone is itself. Whether or not it's loud, I don't know. Because I guess one thing to think about here is, in most cases when you see a product launch like DJI, you'd see so many product reviewers like hands-on, whereas this one, I actually couldn't find anything. So it seems like they didn't really give out samples to people to try out. I guess that's a little unfortunate. Even a person like me, I'd love to try it out just to test it out to see if it's good, I guess, cinematically and all that, if it's actually portable and all. Because like most things, specs are one thing, but how is it in an actual real life situation? That's the real question here. That we won't know. But what would everyone else think of this? Like if you were thinking of a new drone, would this be on your radar, for example? Would you rather buy this if you had to buy something right now versus, let's just say, a Mavic 2 lineup? And just a quick update about that drone video thief. I basically contacted the publication that was promoting them for me to basically find out like, hey, I'm interested in what happened there because this person basically stole my work, so I'm kind of interested in how this came about. How did they approach you? What did they say? Like, I'm kind of interested to see how well or how much they lied about the situation to get them to actually do this. And apparently from what they told me, like the response, it seems very corporate. Basically, it seemed like it was a junior writer or editor for that site, like the Daily Hive Vancouver, saying the news story was passed on to them. And she basically was given all the information to publish from the recipient. So most of the stuff, I guess she's just quoting what maybe they sent them like an email saying, hey, look at my great work. It'd be great if you could show it on your platform. And by the sounds of it, they basically published it. So there was no real research done, to my understanding anyways. Like along the lines here, it says, we trust that when reaching out to us about a video or any piece of content creation that individuals will be providing honest and accurate information about their content. And they basically apologize that they basically can't help more in terms of getting more details. I guess that's actually a good example how many times like you wonder how certain stories make it in the mainstream where you're like, what, that makes absolutely no sense and all this stuff, or how did this get there? It's basically people just pitching their stuff, accurate or not. Like it's up to the journalists, I guess you could say normally, or media to do their research, but I guess here they didn't. If my profession was like a lawyer and it's just like really easy to me, no problem, I'd probably like, you know, here's a letter, etc., etc. But obviously that's not my thing, so I guess it's just deciding what to do from now. But at the moment, I'm just kind of compiling all the information because I have a lot of facts, even some stuff that I'd even published just in case like that party or whatever decides to try to lie about it on what they did and so forth. I may have captured a car accident, I don't know, because basically when I was flying the drone up, I heard a loud crash, but I don't know if I actually saw it because the picture is so small, but I guess that might be it over there.
more questions for you, okay?
I just exchanged numbers with the people who had the car crash because again I have to check the footage again because I was actually just flying up getting like a standard shot, and again I just heard a big crash, so maybe I caught it like on the wide angle. I had the filters and stuff to capture the sky though, so it might be super dark, but I don't know, we'll see. If I find something, then it'll be nice to help them to see, you know, what happens if they need it for evidence or anything like that. Would be a first time for that though if I actually caught it on film. Alright, see you guys later.